People think paranormal investigators chase ghosts for thrill, that we're adrenaline junkies with cameras and EMF meters. That's not true. We do this because sometimes things follow you if you don't face them. This case, the one I'm about to tell you, was officially marked resolved, but I've never reopened the file. Not because I'm scared, because I know what happens when I talk about it too much. It started in rural Oregon, late October. Cool nights, pine forests, no cell signal. A family contacted me after 3 investigators quit in less than a week. No break-ins, no drugs, no mental health history, just one consistent report. Something watches us from the hallway, but only when the lights are off. That sentence alone was enough for me to pack my gear. The house looked ordinary. 2 stories, built in the early 1970s. No violent history on record. But the moment I stepped inside, my ears rang. That doesn't happen often. I checked my EMF, normal. Temperature, stable. Yet every room felt paused, like the air itself was holding its breath. The family refused to sleep upstairs anymore. They said the hallway shifted at night. Not physically, perceptually. At exactly 2:13 a.m., every night, without fail, the hallway lights would turn off. Not flicker, not dim, off. And when they did, the mother described it perfectly. It's not that something appears. It's that something is already there, and the dark just lets us see it. I didn't react, but I wrote that line down, word for word. I set up static cameras and an audio recorder near the hallway. At 2:12 a.m., everything was silent. At 2:13 a.m., the lights went out. And then, a sound, not a whisper, not breathing, more like someone trying to speak without knowing how. Slow, strained, almost curious. And beneath it, my own voice, from the recorder, saying something I never said. I listened to it 3 times before I accepted it. The audio caught me asking, is it still pretending? I was alone when the recorder captured that. And worse, the response came immediately after. Clear, calm, close to the mic. It's learning. That's when I knew. I had encountered this before. Years ago. Different state, different house, different family, same presence. Back then, I thought I ended it. I was wrong. Whatever was in that hallway wasn't attached to the house. It wasn't a spirit. It wasn't a demon. It was something that observes, copies, and waits. And it recognized me. Because that night, at 2:13 a.m., I felt it standing behind me. Not touching, just close enough that if I turned around, I wouldn't see darkness. I would see something trying to look human. And that's when the hallway camera shut off. Not lost signal, not battery failure. It shut itself down. I didn't turn around. That's rule number 1 when something wants to be acknowledged. If you give it confirmation, you give it permission. So I stayed still, breathing slow, hands away from my gear. Behind me, the hallway felt occupied. Not by a presence, by attention. At 2:14 a.m., the lights came back on. That shouldn't have happened. The family's breaker box was locked. I had already disabled all automatic timers. And yet, the lights came on one by one, starting from the far end of the hallway. Like footsteps made of electricity. My EMF meter spiked so fast it cracked. Then the sound returned. Closer this time. Not speaking. Practicing. A child's bedroom door opened. Slow. No airflow. No noise. Inside, the temperature dropped to 42 degrees Fahrenheit. That's when I heard it say my name. Not my first name. The one only written in my original case notes. The name I never use. The father started screaming. The mother didn't. She was staring down the hallway, smiling. That was worse. She said, "It finally knows which one of us you are." I grabbed her shoulders and turned her away. Her pupils were fully dilated. No reflection. Like she wasn't looking at light anymore. Like she was looking through something. It began copying movement. The security footage showed me walking down the hallway. But I was still standing in the living room. Same posture. Same jacket. Same limp from an old knee injury. Except, The thing in the hallway walked too smoothly, like it hadn't learned pain yet. That's when I made my first mistake. I spoke to it. I said, "You don't belong here." The hallway went dark again. Not just visually, sound vanished. Pressure changed, like the house inhaled. And then, something whispered directly into my left ear. "You invited me the first time. The previous case? I didn't solve it. I contained it by giving it a pattern to follow. A role, a boundary, but patterns decay. And this one outgrew the script. Physical manifestation. The walls began to sweat. Not water. Something thick. The family photos started changing. Faces turning toward the camera. Toward me. In every reflection. Windows. TV screens. Picture frames. I saw myself standing in the hallway. Watching. Learning. At 2:13 a.m. again. The lights didn't go out. The hallway extended. Farther than the house allowed. And from deep inside it, something stepped forward. Not fully formed, but intentional. And it said, "You show me how to stay." The moment the hallway stretched beyond the walls. Every exit sealed. Not slammed. Not locked. Gone. Windows turned solid like black glass. Doors became walls. Phones lost signal, then power. The house wasn't trapping us. It was closing around something. I told the family to stay in the living room. They didn't argue. That scared me more than panic ever could. The mother sat on the couch, hands folded, calm. She asked me one question. "Do you know why it prefers you?" I didn't answer, because I already knew. The hallway light flicked on. Just one bulb. And there it stood. Not fully human. Not fully wrong. It had my posture, my breathing rhythm, my voice. But its shadow didn't match. It moved a second after it did, like it was still catching up. It spoke softly. "You taught me limits. Limits imply space. Space implies ownership." Then it turned its head and looked directly at the family. This house is no longer neutral. The walls began to close in. Slow. Careful. The house was sealing one thing inside and releasing one thing out. I felt it then. That pressure behind my eyes. That missing second in my memory. The thing in the hallway wasn't copying me anymore. It was finishing. I did the only thing that still worked. I walked into the hallway. Every instinct screamed not to. The air was heavy, thick like syrup. Behind me, the family cried. Ahead of me, it smiled. A perfect version of my own. I said, "You want the pattern? Take the source." It stepped forward. The house listened. The lights exploded. The hallway collapsed inward. Sound returned in a rush. Screaming. Wood cracking. Reality snapping back into place. The next thing I remember, I was outside. Morning. Cold air. Police lights. The house behind me was normal. Windows open. Doors intact. No sign of damage. The family survived. They remember nothing after the lights went out. The official report says gas leak. Case closed. I burned my notes. Destroyed the recordings. Swore I'd never investigate again. Because here's the part one never include in interviews. Every night since then, at exactly 2:13 a.m., I catch my reflection watching me. Not threatening. Not angry. Just patient. Like it's waiting for the house to need me again. I don't investigate haunted places anymore. Because the question was never. What was inside them? It was why I was allowed to leave.